Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm John Gray, and we're just plain living here.
Just barely. Do you ever
Oh.
feel like that way? I don't have any water at my house. All of the water is off in our area.
Really?
Yeah.
I wonder what happened. Did the river quit running?
Well, I didn't really. I just got the message that it was off, and that was easy enough because I couldn't turn on the water.
Yeah.
So it wasn't
Yeah.
a big
You
deal.
probably knew that.
But what happened? Some big malfunction at the water plant. So hopefully it'll be back in a day or two.
Malfunction at the
Yeah.
water
Have you ever tried to
plant.
get up and take a bath in a cup of water? And brush your teeth and do all that stuff?
Don't you have water? Don't you keep water?
I have it in the past, but this time I didn't have any water saved. Of course, I had some bottled water, to drink. Anyway, I'm surviving.
You need to keep. You need to get you some of those plastic, big old 5-gallon plastic water bottles like they put up on a water
I know
tank.
exactly what you're talking about.
And
I used to own some of those.
Fill them full of water and put them in your garage.
And we got rid of them because in the Philippine Islands you always had to have water because you might have it one day and the next day you would not have water.
For 2 weeks.
So we always had water. And for a long time I've had a gallon or two of just regular water under the sink just in case I needed it. But I was not prepared.
I can't believe
But
that.
I have survived. So,
Well, you look good anyway.
well, I'm clean as you can get with a teaspoon
With
of
a-
water.
With a coffee cup full
Yeah.
of water.
Oh,
You couldn't even make coffee,
See,
could you?
No, I always have water for coffee, but
You must live on 130.
I do. Are you out too?
Yeah, I had to wash my hair when I come down here this morning.
Oh, well, that was what I was going to do last night at 9:30, and I'd been teaching all day, so I hadn't paid any attention to water, and it was still kind of slow, I noticed, but anyway, it was about 9:30, I was going to wash my hair, take a bath, and get
Right.
ready, so nothing. Anyway, that's such a small thing, but it is something to think
Until
about.
it's gone.
Until it's gone, and then it becomes a major thing.
Unless you're a country boy
Unless you're a country boy.
or a country girl, because they can
And
go to the river and get
We
water.
will survive.
Yeah. Yeah.
You learn.
Those people that you look at and go, oh, look at that poor person right there living out there in that shack or whatever. They don't make any difference to them. Whatever happens, they can deal with
They
it.
figure out a way to deal with
They
it.
go to the river and get water. They
You're
fish.
hungry,
They
you go out
hunt.
and kill a squirrel.
That's it.
You can
That's
survive.
it. Got goats to milk.
I wish
or don't
I'd have a
drink
goat.
any milk.
Wouldn't you like to have a goat?
You know what I've seen a lot of, and you might know what they are. Excuse me. But they're these little bitty goats that just hop around all over
I
everywhere.
love those goats.
What are those?
Just little old tiny
Hopping goats? Did they eat Hoppin' John on New Year's
I don't
Day?
know.
Is that
I
what
don't
it
know
was?
if I guess they've been bred down to be small.
Uh-huh.
And I wonder how safe that is, but they are the cutest things.
They just bounce. They just hop all
Oh, and
over
they're just-
everywhere.
Sometimes I've seen them on Facebook in little pajamas.
Goat pajamas,
Yeah, they're just the cutest things.
I will say.
How have you been?
Me, I'm fine.
I haven't seen you in a while.
Since last week.
Since last week.
We see each other once a week just about right now because the way everything, there's a lot of stuff going on. I mean, we're trying to get the vaccine to people, not
know.
we, but
I've been on a
the
list for a long time.
society is trying to get vaccine. The government, whoever's in charge of that, is trying to get vaccine to people, and it's dribbling in sort of like your water.
Yeah, right.
It's running about like your water runs.
So my water's
Some
not running
days
at
it's
all.
on, some days it's not. But you can call your county health department and put your name in, and I believe they're trying to get everybody over 75 first.
Right, that's why I should be at the top of the list, for heaven's sakes. But anyway, you call, if you don't know what to do, you call the Tullahoma Health Center,
Yeah.
which is what I did, and they gave me a number to call.
Right.
And they sent me an email to fill out. That's
Right.
how I got hopefully on the list.
Yeah, we're on a list, and you just don't know when they'll call you up. But Jim Fuller, our partner, said they called him up, and they told him to come over to Manchester to the fairgrounds and
that's where-
be there in 20 minutes, which he did. And he said he was one of 2 people that got a shot. He said there wasn't people standing around. They know how many shots they have, and they go down the list and call
They've got it
those.
very well organized. the only problem is getting enough shots
Right.
to finally get through the.
Right.
I think that we've gotten through healthcare workers, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know. I don't know whether they're
Some
going to
doctors I
nursing
know
homes.
have got their shots, and that's real important.
I know that there's people over in the Brookdale and these different homes that they're having meetings about when that's going to happen
Yeah.
to those people in those facilities. And of course, most of them are locked down. You know, people can't get in there, so most of them are
There's a lot of people locked down. I have a friend from college that lives in a not assisted but independent living
Right.
in Georgia, and for weeks and weeks and months there's been no cases. Now all of a sudden there's 20 cases, so they have to stay in their rooms or their apartment, and somebody from the staff brings food and sets it outside their door. They don't even see them. They
Right.
just knock on the door, and they know to get their food. They bring it in, and they put it back out like you're in the hospital or something, or in
Right.
a hotel. But she's very frustrated.
Oh,
I
I'm
think
sure.
The mental health issue that's involved in all this is vast. And
Well, and the thing about it is, I've had several friends, as I know as probably you have, who have lost loved ones that they couldn't be with.
that's right.
And how horrible is that to have a loved one in a facility where you couldn't go see them,
Can't go see them.
and then they pass away, and you're not, you
can
can't
look in
be
the
there.
window.
Maybe if you're lucky.
So in
Tough
one
deal.
way, technology is good because at least maybe they can Facebook them, FaceTime, or Zoom, or something like
But
that.
a lot of the older people that
Wouldn't
do
know how to
that don't
do
know
that.
that, and the
That's right.
staff is not going to do it because they're
They don't
taking
have
care of
time.
everybody. They don't have time to do it. So
It's a huge issue, and we hope that it gets better.
you've been watching any football? I know how much you love football.
Once in a while I'll pass it when I'm
Pass through, you pass by it, yeah.
Was
So
it a good week?
well, yeah, it was a good. I mean, they're down to 4 teams the 2 will play in the American League champion, and 2 will play in the National League champion, and it's Green Bay is versus. Oh, and this past weekend, Tom Brady and Drew Brees are 2 of the greatest that ever played each other.
Oh,
One of
they
them was
did.
43 and one of them's 42.
And
Oldest 2 quarterbacks to ever play.
quarterbacks, and I know that, and that's wonderful.
And win. And Brady ended up beating Brees, so he will go to Green Bay to play Aaron Rodgers and the Cheeseheads. And
So do you have a bet on anything?
I don't bet on it. You have to have money to bet. I don't have any money.
John, you're loaded with money?
Yeah. Who's been blowing smoke on you? Smoke and mirrors, folks. That's all it's ever been. Smoke and mirrors.
Yeah.
That's why we're in front of this camera
Well,
on a stage.
we're all set for the inauguration.
Yes, that's tomorrow.
And it's all the troops are in D.C., right? Across the
Right, there's a lot of them there. I heard there was
Wait, I
more
guess
in
is
D.C.
that
than
all
there is
Is it all
in
National
Europe.
Guard?
Yeah,
Is
I
it
don't
all-
know what it
I don't
is.
know. But it's a lot of people.
I'm trying not to watch all of that because it's I will watch the inauguration, but I don't want to watch all this slanted stuff that before all day long they're talking about this, and it's
know.
mean out there. It's mean.
Yeah, I'd
And
like
that's-
to see the dynamics of dialogue between people get a little bit more, healthier.
And they were showing this morning on the Today Show about the speeches after the inauguration. And every one of them, you go back through history, is about coming together.
Right.
Don't fight each other. Don't scream at each other. This is not the first time that this has ever gone on. It's
no.
gone on since the founding fathers.
That's right. It's everybody has a right to what they believe, and in this country, which is free, so
Right, free.
free speech needs to remain that way.
Yeah.
And
If you don't like what somebody says, that's just too
I'm
bad.
not mad at you if you're not on my side.
No.
You know what I mean? It's
Well,
just
but there's a lot of people that are.
I know, and I don't understand that reasoning. I mean,
They want it their way. They want to be able to do whatever they want to do. They'll agree with you as long as you agree with them.
True.
You know, and if you don't agree with them, they you know, there's hard lines drawn, and it's breaking up families, it's breaking up friendships,
I know, that's sad to me.
and that's ridiculous.
Well, I did learn one thing from my mother. She was, you don't bring politics and religion to your gatherings.
To the dinner
it's
table.
Not the smartest
No,
thing
not
to
smart,
do.
not smart.
Not smart. But still hold fast to what you believe, and because it is a free country.
That's right. So everybody,
And I hope it stays
I read
that
this.
way.
Oh, and we're going to have some stuff on today celebrating Martin Luther King, which was yesterday. Which is I watched some great movies on television.
I did too. There was a lot of really good stuff
So,
on that.
and this is something that I wrote. I read it last week, maybe, probably so. I'm getting ready to. My writing partner and I are going to go and be in the studio tomorrow,
And record?
recording this. It's called Moving the Sticks. And listen, because this is about what's happening in our country right now. Put love back in where hate has been. Keep on moving the sticks. Use every link in the chain. You don't win with 1 1st and 10, so line up and try again. No matter the gain, more still remains. There's so much to be fixed. It's up to you. Do all you can do to keep on moving the sticks. America's not perfect, just trying to be the best, but some old beliefs still lay heavy on the chest. Not only about color, but those with different views. Search deep and see, it just might be about me and you. So keep on moving the sticks. Use every link in the chain. You don't win with 1 1st and 10, so line up and try again. No matter the gain, more still remains. There's so much to be fixed. It's up to you. Do all you can do to keep moving the sticks. The powerful profit on pain. As far as we look back, the check of change is written again, but never can be cashed. We laugh with no joy. Tears don't erase the pain. The promise is just noise backed up with disdain. How can we be equal, all fighting diversity? Mr. Big Bucks man might own the band, but the dance belongs to you and me, and together we can set each other free. Keep moving the sticks. Use every link in the chain. You don't win with 1 1st and 10, so line up and try again. No matter the gain, more still remains. There's so much to be fixed. It's up to you. Do all you can do to keep on moving the sticks. Put love back in where hate has been. And with that, we'll go to commercial break.
Ah, the glory days. Running to daylight on the gridiron and chasing a ball with a mind of its own. Cheering the team to victory and marching to the beat of your own drum. Memories that last a lifetime. But sometimes we're reminded of our glory days in ways we'd rather forget. Get back in the game.
The rehab team at Life Care Center of Tullahoma is ready to help you live and play well.
Is this the year you want to get fit? If so, check out just some of the things Tullahoma Parks and Rec has to offer. Kickboxing, aerobics, silver sneakers workouts, swim lessons, boot camp, water aerobics, basketball, Zumba, yoga, pickleball, lap swimming, treadmill, karate. Get fit, Tullahoma, and have some fun with Tullahoma Parks and Rec.
The individuals with dementia, those with Parkinson's, those that have maybe mobility issues, need caregivers. Well, those caregivers are 24 hours a day at home, and they never get a rest. And if they have to go to work, they're kind of out of luck. So that's why Trinity came into existence 25 years ago, to allow the caregivers to have a safe center where they could put their loved ones, know they would be well cared for, stimulated, fed good nutritious meals, have activities to their level, and then the caregiver can stop by and pick them up and go on home and have some continuity into their life.
It's not invoice. It's not MSRP. It's not Christmas Day, although it may feel like it. It's the lowest prices in Middle Tennessee, period. It's a Stan McNabb Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram or Stan McNabb Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac before these prices are gone forever.
How long has it been since you raced a cheetah? Are your tornado creating skills getting rusty? Tired of being the only one in your neighborhood who hasn't built a dinosaur? Sounds like it's time to visit the Hands-On Science Center. The Hands-On Science Center is an indoor science playground. In this museum, please touch is the rule. Join us for weekly science demonstrations on space, lasers, lizards, rocks, and a whole lot more. No two visits are ever the same, so visit often to see our ever-changing exhibits and demonstrations. The Hands-On Science Center, 101 Mitchell Boulevard in Tullahoma.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back, and I've got one of my favorite friends from the city of Tullahoma here today. Well, friend beyond that, but he's one of my heroes, Winston Brooks, and he's the guy who keeps up with everything that goes on.
Well, thank you.
And shares the information with the public.
I am the public information officer.
Public information officer.
Yes.
So if something big happens and the big news comes in here from New York or Nashville, you're the guy that they get to speak to.
I'm the point person, that's right.
Or point person.
Talk to them and let them know what's going on.
Well, so what is going on, Winston?
Well, so it's 2021.
Has much changed?
It's a new year. Well, as far as COVID-19 and the virus is concerned, not much has changed. There are a couple of guiding policies in place right now from the governor, specifically Executive Order number 70. That allows us to continue to meet on Zoom or virtually until the end of February. At that point, they'll either issue a different order and new guidance. And I'd like to think that the virus would not be a concern by then, but I think that's a little bit early.
Probably.
But if the numbers in Coffee County continue to go down, the city of Tullahoma may change its posture, a little more relaxed. After Thanksgiving, the city of Tullahoma went to a little more aggressive posture in terms of trying to keep the virus from spreading as much. And it caused some operations at the Parks Department to change.
Right.
So maybe by the end of February they can open that back up, and we'll have to talk to them to know. But so maybe we can relax that a little bit. Right now it's at 482. I looked this morning before I came, and it'd be great to get that number down below 400, 300. You know, and I guess one day what I'm hearing is that by the end of the second quarter of 2021, they may be getting most of the vaccines distributed into people's arms, and wouldn't it be great to see that number trickle on down below 100, a distant memory one day. But
yeah.
But
well, and that just means that we went through a big deal in the spring, where everybody was pretty much compliant. I mean, you could pull out on Jackson Street at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. There wouldn't be anybody on Jackson Street.
Right, that was very odd, wasn't it?
It was very odd, and when we made it through that and the numbers started dropping a little bit, then everybody just sort of let their guard down, and then this thing came back with a new breath of power.
That's right.
And people never picked the vigilance back up, and that's why we got rampant in these cases.
Sure. Well, people are fatigued and tired of being quarantined and missing the fellowship like we used to have. So, but again, if people can take precautions and wash your hands and keep your distance, wear masks, then I think you can get out and do some things that we used to do and manage it and try to protect the most vulnerable population. But I didn't want to come on and just talk about COVID because I unfortunately don't have a lot of news to report on that. But as in terms of the information, we do have information. Obviously it's easy to get, but our website does have a COVID page. If anybody's interested, and it leads you mostly to the CDC and the state website and COVID dashboards. But the reason I did want to come on and talk about some new communication strategies that the city is going to be undertaking, which is kind of exciting. We have a new RFP, or an RFP, not a new one. It's been out there for a few months now to develop a new City of Tullahoma website. And
good.
So be watching for that. It's pretty exciting, upgrading our website.
I hope it's easier to navigate.
Well, it will be. It's the biggest complaint we get a lot. There's not been a huge budget set aside for website development at the city, so this will be a huge step forward, and so we're excited about that. And one of the new features that we are starting now, which will carry over into our new website, is the ability to get your accident reports online. And so
That's great.
One of the most frequent reasons people come to City Hall is to get their accident report after they've had, unfortunately, a crash. So now you can go to crashdocs.org, that's crashdocs.org, and you put in your email and your crash report number, and it will send you back your accident report that you'll need to file your insurance. It's free of
that's
charge.
great.
Yeah, you don't have to walk in to City Hall. It saves you a trip. And I didn't know this, but when you have an accident, knock on wood, that's the reason I don't know this because I haven't had an accident, is that the police officer gives you the report number right away.
Right.
But there's always a lag time between the time you can actually get the accident report
Right.
and file it with your insurance. So this will speed that up. So it's crashdocs.org.
Great.
And get that information and save you a trip. It's free and will hopefully be more convenient for the public.
I want to ask you a question.
Okay.
Winston always looks at me when I say
I've
that.
got a good answer for you.
Well, no, but this is about something that was very important a while back,
Okay.
and I haven't really heard anything about, and that's our census.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have census numbers back yet? I know that we went through a big time of making sure people tried to get everybody to register and be part of the census. Have we heard any information about that yet?
The latest census data has not been released yet.
Okay.
Nor has there been any sneak peeks. So there was supposed to be some information released at the end of January, but the last report that I heard was, for whatever reason, it's been delayed. So we're probably looking at the end of February, early March to start to look at early numbers.
Yeah, and so because that makes a big difference to our community and what kind of state and federal dollars come into our community. So that's
right.
that's a
huge.
very important number.
Now, anecdotally, I can tell you that it seems like there's a lot of growth in Coffee County and in Tullahoma. There's I am now in the new director of planning and zoning. And so there is.
You are the new director of planning and zoning.
There's been a change in the planning and codes department. So building and codes has moved under Public Works, under Butch Taylor's division, and then planning and zoning is under community development. So I'm the community development director. Now am responsible for planning and zoning. We hired a new senior planner. With 25 years of experience. She moved here recently from Tampa. She's loving living in Tennessee.
I bet.
Yep. And her name is Mary Samaniego. So I do encourage everyone to come down, give us a call, look us up, come meet her. She's hit the ground running. I've been here just about 2 months now. So that's a big change. And
so our planning commission, how does it affect the planning? How does that move affect the planning commission? The meetings that we go film?
Right. So it really doesn't impact the Planning Commission at all. So the Planning Commission.
How can it not impact the Planning Commission?
Well, so the Planning Commission is about planning and zoning.
And you're about planning and
zoning.
So
So Mary Samaniego is the director who advises that commission, and that is also, in effect, my boss is the Planning Commission now. As well as the Board of Mayor and Aldermen as well. But the Planning Commission, yes, so I'll be working very closely with them and especially with Mary's help. Running those meetings. We have a meeting tonight, talk about 2 minor subdivisions. And
very good.
We've got some other exciting.
Well, that's great because that whole debacle has been kind of a problem for quite a few years. And
yes.
The codes and the building and all that.
We're making some improvements. I won't say that I want to agree with what you're saying, but I am going to be down there. We're making some improvements to streamline it and make it more efficient and consistent.
Very good.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So looking at it from a builder's perspective, that's wonderful news.
Yes, good. And that's, again, that's what we want to do is we want to make it easy for people to invest, develop, and make sure they're meeting the right regulations and then get out of the way. For a community our size, that's really the best thing we can do, in my opinion.
Very good.
I do want to mention, going back to the websites real quick before I end, I know time's running short. On tourism, we've been working with our tourism council That's led by Steve May and Jenna Amacher, making some progress on that. We will have a new website as well. We're partnering with the South Central Tennessee Tourism Association, which is now under the direction of Ryan French. He is really making a lot of changes there. Their website looks great. You go to experiencetn.com.
Right.
So we will be partnering with them and having experiencetn.com/Tullahoma. So
Very
for
good.
the first time, we'll have our own tourism website.
Outstanding.
So I guess that's about all I've got for now.
Good job, Mr. Brooks.
All right.
Welcome to 2021.
Thank you.
Glad
Happy
to have
New
you
Year.
here. Glad that you're still working for us. This guy, you talk about somebody, you want somebody to represent you and give you the best of what he's got to make things better for you. That man right there, Winston Brooks is his name.
Thank you.
Thank him every time you see him for the work he does, as I will right now.
Fist bump.
Thanks, brother.
You're welcome.
See you next time. We'll be right back.
Let me tell you about the toughest guy on earth. He does the work of 2 jobs, but only gets paid for one. He's tough enough to feed the man that gave him a lifetime of nourishment. He has the crazy strength to lift the man that raised him up without even flinching. That's right. No employee of the month bonus check here. This guy, this warrior, will always be by his father's side, even if his dad will hardly remember. Good luck finding a gym to train for that. If this guy isn't the toughest guy on the planet, then I don't know who is. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
Is this the year you want to get fit? If so, check out just some of the things Tullahoma Parks and Rec has to offer. Kickboxing, aerobics, silver sneakers workouts, swim lessons, boot camp, water aerobics, basketball, Zumba, yoga, pickleball, lap swimming, treadmill, karate. Get fit, Tullahoma, and have some fun with Tullahoma Parks and Rec.
When your family suffers the loss of a loved one, the caring and compassionate staff at Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel are standing by to assist you in every way possible. We are proud to support local industry and offer only Batesville caskets. Many funeral homes don't own or operate a crematory. We utilize the only crematory in Coffee County. Your loved one never leaves Coffee County. We can accommodate any need and any budget. Consider our complete pre-need service to remove this burden from your family during their time of grief. Lock in today's low costs and protect from inflation. Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel. Our family caring for your family.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I believe that we're getting ready to have some video. I think this is I've Got a Dream speech. Is that what it is, Philip? Okay, involving Martin Luther King, and yesterday was Martin Luther King Day and all the wonderful things he did, and I hope some of you had an opportunity to see some of the video and movies that were on television yesterday about this man who was a great man. So Martin Luther King, he had a dream.
I have the pleasure to present to you Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr.
I am happy to join with you today in what will go down in history as the greatest demonstration for freedom in the history of our nation. 50 years ago, a great American in whose symbolic shadow we stand today signed the Emancipation Proclamation. This momentous decree came as a great beacon light of hope to millions of Negro slaves who had been seared in the flames of withering injustice. It came as a joyous daybreak to end the long night of their captivity. But 100 years later, the Negro still is not free. 100 years later, the life of the Negro is still sadly crippled by the manacles of segregation and the chains of discrimination. 100 years later, the Negro lives on a lonely island of poverty. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will they be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream that one day, even the state of Mississippi, a state sweltering with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream. My 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day, down in Alabama with its vicious racists, with its governor having his lips dripping with the words of interposition and nullification. One day right there in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted, and every hill and mountain shall be made low. The rough places will be made plain, and the crooked places will be made straight, and the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. This is our hope. This is the faith that I go back to the South with. With this faith, we will be able to hew out of the mountain of despair a stone of hope. With this faith, we will be able to transform the jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood. With this faith, we will be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, to stand up for freedom together, knowing that we will be free one day. This will be the day when all of God's children will be able to sing with new meaning, my country, tears of thee. Sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride. From every mountainside, let freedom ring. And if America is to be a great nation, this must become true. And so let freedom ring. From the prodigious hilltops of New Hampshire, let freedom ring. From the mighty mountains of New York, Let freedom ring from the heightening Alleghenies of Pennsylvania. Let freedom ring from the snow-capped Rockies of Colorado. Let freedom ring from the curvaceous slopes of California. But not only that, let freedom ring from Stone Mountain of Georgia. Let freedom ring from Lookout Mountain of Tennessee. Let freedom ring from every hill and molehill of Mississippi, from every mountainside. Let freedom ring in windy capital. When we allow freedom ring, when we let it ring from every village and every hamlet, from every state and every city, we will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual, free at last, free at last, thank God Almighty, we are free at last.
Oh, hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is the paint. Uh-oh. I just knocked a tree over. This is the paint doctor. I got the color wheel. Now, you know what a color wheel is? It is the wheel at the paint works where you pick all your colors to paint your room. It could be a multicolored beard. It could be a underarm fan. You never can tell. One thing we do know is that it's time to paint. You know, you can make your wife very happy if you go to your house and paint some rooms, or you paint the outside of the house, the inside of the house. It makes them feel very good because you work hard for them and they like that. All women like to see their man sweat, you know? They do. Honeydew is what they do. And you get to do it too. So you go to the Paintworks at 1960 North Washington Street and you see David Heikkinen over there, and he's the real paint doctor. He fix you up with color. It's so nice when the color is right. Go to Paintworks today. Martin Senor. See? Martin Senor. Right there. Martin Senor at the Paintworks. Bye, and we see you next time. I'm burning up.
You know what, guys? There's a lot of tree branches and dry brush over here. We should probably move the bonfire over there.
I'm guessing Smokey liked that idea.
Okay, so what would you bring to my company?
What do you need?
I need problem-solving skills.
I got through high school without a car, a phone, or a computer.
No college degree, though.
Not yet, but life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
Welcome back. I'm always happy to have with me the mental health people, Pam and Brenda. Thanks for coming.
You're
Sisters
welcome.
that know a lot.
I don't know about that.
Anyway, the National Association of Mental Health, you all handle those meetings.
Yeah, we do support groups and education classes for
and
families.
Education classes, and I know that's sort of come to a halt partially.
Zoom. We've done 2 education classes via Zoom, and the neat thing about that is we've had people from all over the state of Tennessee
that's
take our
wonderful.
classes, so we can reach more people
so
that way.
So you reach more people, and if Let's just go ahead and let people know out there what they need to do to Zoom a meeting. Like if they don't know about your meetings, tell me what they need to do.
You have to have an invite. It's all kind of closed because Zoom can be hacked real easily.
Yeah.
So you can call our phone number. It's 931-952-6871, and either Pam or I will answer. Give us your email address, and we can send you an invitation. We have
You have a website, don't you?
No, we don't have a website. We have a Facebook page, but we have an email address. It's NAMICoffeeCounty@gmail.com. They can email us at that.
NAMI is N-A-M-I.
N-A-M-I.
National Association of Mental Health.
National Alliance on Mental Health, actually, is what it's called. But
and so they can contact. There we go. I was hoping he'd
there you go.
Yes. You can get all the information that you need and get a phone number from that.
They can get on there and talk to us, actually. They can get on there and
So
message
how many
us.
people did you have at the last Zoom meeting?
Only 9. People are kind of reluctant to get on Zoom. It's not like being in person, but
it'll grow.
It'll grow. And the people that are on there need to be there. They're there because they need the support. So
some of the issues that you all find that people have that you're dealing with.
The loneliness.
The loneliness, is that one of the biggest things?
And isolation.
Isolation, not being able to get out and go and see and talk to people. Hugging. I'm a big hugger. It's really hard for me.
I mean, no physical contact.
Right.
You know, everybody's just in the elbow deal. And
the thing people with a mental illness need to realize during this time is it's okay not to be okay. People push themselves and try to, I shouldn't stay in bed today. I need to get up and do something. If staying in bed's the best you can do, stay in bed. My daughter has a saying, it just went right through my brain. Anything worth doing is worth doing poorly. And by that, she means doing something is better than doing nothing at all. Like if you got a sink full of dishes, wash a couple of glasses. That's better than not washing anything at all. If you've,
you just try to make a start.
Try to make a start.
Well,
just slow. Go slow.
I don't know if I have a mental illness or not. I know I'm a little bit deranged. But anyway, I try to walk a mile every day. Well, once in a while, that is one of the hardest tasks. I'll get on the treadmill and I'll do 1/10 of a mile and I'll get off. But I finally will crawl on there enough to get a mile at the end of the day.
Even if you can do it several times a day, if you can get a mile in, do 1/10 of a mile 10 times,
Or get some puzzles.
Yes.
Something to keep your mind active.
To keep your mind
and don't watch the news. Don't watch the news.
Stay off of the news.
The news
is wear you out.
It's depressing. It is very depressing. And people that have mental health conditions focus on that. And they
get overwhelmed.
And it overwhelms them,
Well, aside from loneliness, you all have some people I know that come in probably have PTSD.
Yes, we have a lot of people with PTSD.
Experiences, and that doesn't only happen to military people.
Right.
It happens to many people who have extreme things happen in their lives that they never quite have gotten over.
Yes.
Now, you mentioned Michelle, and I think it might be interesting to people. Do you have her diagnosis?
My daughter has bipolar disorder, borderline personality disorder, and PTSD, and she has an anxiety disorder. She has panic attacks. And a lot of people have that in the middle of a grocery store. We were in Kroger in Tullahoma the other day, and she just froze. She just freezes, and
too many people.
It just overwhelms her, and so I ask if I can touch her because sometimes it's no. She doesn't want to be touched, and if she says yes, I just hug her. I just wrap my arms around her in the middle of Kroger, and I hug her, and whisper in her ear, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, because people having a panic attack often either hyperventilate or they don't breathe.
Or they don't
They'll hold their breath.
That's the reason I love that song, that
Breathe song, yes.
Yeah, it's called Breathe, and it makes a lot of sense because I've had minor attacks like that.
That's on our Facebook page, that song.
As a voice coach, that's one of the things we do all the time. We practice slow breathing in, breathing, and holding our breath and letting it out. And so I've learned if that happens to me and I get a little overwhelmed, I can sit down in a chair and very quietly we'll just work on breathing and try to get your brain somewhere else.
Meditation is a good coping mechanism as well.
And good music, good calming music.
You know what I like to do?
What?
I like to put headbanging music on and I just dance around in my kitchen and it makes me happy.
Well, that's good. Whatever it takes.
Whether I like the song or not, I just move, just flail my arms and my legs.
Well, which brings in exercise. I think exercise is really important.
Yes.
To help people get endorphins in their brain and work
increases
through what's
serotonin
going on.
levels.
And so if you just whatever it is that you can do. If you can't walk, then do something with your arms.
Like I said, anything worth doing is worth doing poorly. Do something.
Do something.
Do something. Something is better than nothing.
What do you think? Do animals help?
Oh yes. Animals are a great help.
Great. Yes. Yes.
Animals feel your pain, I think.
Yeah, they're very
sensitive.
Yeah, very
intuitive.
Intuitive to your body and what's going on in your. That's why a lot of them are rescue animals.
Right.
Are support animals.
I read that more shelter animals have been picked up this last year during this pandemic than ever, which just goes to prove that people need something that breathes and something they can
An
love.
animal loves you, well, cats don't, but dogs, dogs love you unconditionally, you know, and some cats love you unconditionally, you know.
But they still remain in control.
Yes, they're still, you know, my daughter's had 2 cats that were her therapy cats, and we rescued this one she has now, and he sleeps with her.
Oh, that's sweet.
He knows when she goes to bed and helps her, calms her, and helps her
Our
sleep.
time's going to run out, and I just want to reiterate that people need to call that number if they have any issues or know anybody with issues with mental health, because sometimes it just takes a phone call.
That's all it takes.
And then,
we're here for you.
So, Brenda, Pam, thanks for coming.
Thanks for
Time goes
having
so
us.
fast, and then it's over, and off we go. We'll be back with something.
Here at Manchester Funeral Home, we know the importance of living and working in our local community because it's those families who we serve during their time of need honorably. We believe in supporting local business and offer only 100% Batesville caskets, the best in the industry and a driver of our local economy. If you want straightforward and fair pricing while working with the people you know, choose Manchester Funeral Home, serving your community since 1932. And pre-planning and pre-funding can be the best gift you ever leave your loved ones. Call us to pre-arrange. Manchester Funeral Home. Our family caring for your family since 1932.
If you want to be a parent, it doesn't matter how you play, what you wear, how you dance, or even what direction life takes you. You just need to be there. You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care don't need perfection. They just need you.
How long has it been since you raced a cheetah? Are your tornado creating skills getting rusty? Tired of being the only one in your neighborhood who hasn't built a dinosaur? Sounds like it's time to visit the Hands-On Science Center. The Hands-On Science Center is an indoor science playground. In this museum, please touch is the rule. Join us for weekly science demonstrations on space, lasers, lizards, rocks, and a whole lot more. No 2 visits are ever the same, so visit often to see our ever-changing exhibits and demonstrations. The Hands-On Science Center, 101 Mitchell Boulevard in Tullahoma.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
I'm speaking today with Alan Lindley with Coffee County Emergency Management Department. And Alan, so the buck stops with you on COVID vaccination at this point, doesn't it?
Well, it's actually the health department that's in charge of the vaccinations. We're helping them with logistics, and we've been working with them since March on the response phase of this, and now we've moved into the vaccination phase. And there's been quite a few hiccups initially, but
you've never done.
Hopefully, we've got that system streamlined now. So,
well, you've never done this before, so we can cut you a little slack on that.
Longest disaster I've ever worked.
I believe you. So how many vaccinations are we expecting to get in, and what kind of timeline do you think for Coffee?
So I do know that some vaccines arrived today. We had a very limited supply last week. I'm not sure the exact number we've got this week. What they've done the last 2 weeks is they really focused on our long-term care facilities, our nursing homes, assisted livings, things like that. So a lot of our vaccinations or vaccines have gone to those facilities to vaccinate our elderly and some of our healthcare workers that work there. I do know they're going to be open for vaccination tomorrow by appointment only. The state launched a new online portal yesterday morning. We shared it on Facebook and with the media. And before I got on here with you, we had 1,400 people that had signed up since yesterday morning for vaccine. I do know we didn't get that much. I'm pretty sure we didn't get that much vaccine.
But there's 1,400 people. Do all of those people qualify under this current phase of vaccinations, do you think?
And I'm not sure because we're not privy to that data. When somebody signs up, the health department they'll either send them a text, an email, or give them a call if they don't have text or email, and make sure that they are in the correct phase and everything lines up. At that point, you'll be given an appointment time, and then you can go for your vaccination. So currently, as of today, they're vaccinating first responders, healthcare workers, and 75 and older currently. They hope to expand that out, but it's probably going to be at least another 2 weeks before they drop the age some more.
Yeah, I saw something about a recommendation of dropping to 65 and older. I was going to ask if that is that a state decision at this point, or is that a county decision?
It is. It's a state decision because the Department of Health is with the state. They've pretty well been kind of calling all the shots as far as when they open up the different levels, and that's coming straight from the governor's office. So we're relying on them to. It depends on where he says we need to be. Now, once we feel like we've got the majority of the folks that are currently opened up vaccinated, then we can step it down. So, and folks can go to the Tennessee Department of Health's website and determine whether they're eligible in the current phase or not.
We'll provide a link on our Facebook page for that.
Good.
And so in addition to the online portal for signing up, can people also, if they're not internet savvy, can they talk to the health department, or do they have to go through the online portal to get a reservation? So
we had a call with our regional office this morning, and they are recommending that people do the online portal. But there's a lot of folks in the current age group that just don't do online, So there is a 1-800 number or a 931 number they can call. I'm not sure of that off the top of my head, but I'll get that for you so you can put it up.
Okay, we'll put that on the screen there for you.
And for those people that are not tech savvy, they can give them a call and they'll walk them through the process.
Okay. Now, do you know if Coffee County is receiving the Pfizer or Moderna vaccine?
So the health department is receiving the Moderna vaccine. That's what they've been given. And it's mainly because of the logistics of the Pfizer has to be kept at a super cold temperature until it's ready to be used. So because we're doing it at the fairgrounds here in Coffee County, there's no way we could logistically handle it on a daily basis. So Moderna is what we're getting.
Okay. And can you tell us how many people have been vaccinated in Coffee County so far?
I do not offhand know that number. The last time I looked, it was somewhere around pretty close to 1,000, maybe a little more right now. Most of those are first responders, healthcare workers, and like I said, long-term care facilities and folks like that.
Okay. And I heard that that the pharmacies were helping with vaccination at the long-term care. Did that happen, or do they have nurses out at the facilities and doctors that are doing that?
So my understanding is the Walgreens and the CVS pharmacies have contracted with the state to the state ships the vaccine to them, and then the long-term care facilities gets it from them. And I'm sure they're probably helping them administer the vaccine as well.
Okay. Well, can you tell us what people can expect when they drive up to they've gotten their appointment to get vaccination, and they drive out to the Coffee County Fairgrounds to get their vaccine?
Okay, sure. So if you sign up online, there's a couple of different documents that you can actually download and print if you want to. And you can have those, and that's basically just a little questionnaire. Have you been sick in the last 2 weeks? Do you have any of these symptoms, whatever? And then basically an information sheet saying, if you've had COVID within the last 90 days, it's recommended that you don't take the shot, just because we do have a limited number, and a lot of folks that have had it in the last 90 days have the antibodies currently. But if not, they will hand you those 2 sheets of paper, and you just fill out the questionnaire. By the time you get through the line, it's basically just have your arm ready, and literally takes a minute to administer the vaccine. Now, they are recommending that especially the first round, because this is a new vaccine, so they're not sure how it will react to everybody. The flu vaccine we've all had, but this one is a little different. So they are recommending that you stay on the grounds for 30 minutes, and they have healthcare providers out there to kind of monitor everybody, just in case you have any allergic reactions or anything to whatever's in the vaccine. But I can tell you, I got mine on the 17th, I believe it was, and I had a sore arm the next day. After that, I was as normal as I ever was.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks. And can you tell me a little bit about how the hospitals in the county are doing treating people with COVID? We hear that hospitals around Tennessee are getting full.
So I don't know. There's been some mixed talk about that, Philip. I'm not so sure that it's the hospitals are getting more full than they normally are, or it's that staff is getting sick, and so therefore they don't have as much staff as they normally have. I've talked to both hospitals here, and they're in pretty good shape. They're treating it just like any other hospital. Really, it's a standard treatment for COVID. It's kind of like the flu, I think, as far as the way they treat it. Now, it does have some respiratory issues that could potentially come with it. And those folks with other medical problems tend to not fare as well as the younger folks or folks with no medical problems. So.
Okay. Well, how is our EMA department doing with all this faring?
We're holding up. Our folks have been working since March. I think March the 19th, I think, is when we activated our operations center here. And so we've been working daily with our local partners in trying to help protect and secure our citizens here in the county. Okay.
All right. Well, that's. I'll let you get back to work now, and I appreciate you taking some time to talk to us and let the people know what's going on.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Smoking tobacco accounts for 3 of every 10 fire deaths in the United States.
Tullahoma Fire Department need you en route to a structure fire, 202 Main Street. Heavy smoke showing. Neighbors advise child trapped inside.
Lighters, matches, and associated smoking paraphernalia are the leading cause of preschooler fire deaths. We as firefighters know that most structure fires can be prevented.
I've got one! Command, this is primary search. We have a victim. Need EMS to meet us at the front door.
Please help us to give you a fighting chance. This can be prevented. Contact the Tullahoma Fire Department for a free home safety inspection.
What's a Tennessee vacation? It starts off like any road trip, and then, boom, adventure and thrills everywhere you look, which happens to be some of the most beautiful scenery in the country. Music here, history there, and all kinds of green in between. Come relax and unwind, or bring the crowd for some stargazing, or stargazing. Whatever you do, come hungry and expect an awesome soundtrack. It's all right here in Tennessee. We're playing your song. For a free vacation guide, visit tnvacation.com.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
You know, ladies and gentlemen, several years ago, a young actor from Memphis, Tennessee showed up in Tullahoma by the name of Darius Wallace. Very, very talented young man. He came here the first time to do his show on Langston Hughes and Frederick. No, maybe the first one was Frederick Douglass. And then the second one was Langston Hughes, and then he came back and did Martin Luther King. An incredibly talented young man with a wonderful story, and he's been in several movies, and he's graced our stage right here at the studio. I did a long interview with him that we had on It's a Matter of Music and Melodies Wrapped Around Life. Just an incredible young man. He's worked with Morgan Freeman in the movies and different great actors. He's an activist up in Detroit and Flint, Michigan, trying to get water to the folks up there, and that work that they're doing up there. We have found out that the governor and the mayor and a lot of people are involved in the fact that they didn't do anything to fix what was going on, so there's headway being made. A great young man, very proud to call him my friend. Right now, we're going to bring a piece to you that he did, and it's about, just watch him. He will transform himself into a bird. It's about the wind at South Jackson Civic Center.
I am the wind, says the evil within. I am am the wind that wrestles the air grown thin. I am the strength you found my weakness in. But in my weakness then I find my blessings begin. Suffering is the daughter of struggle. Struggle is the grandmother of success, he said. Success is the man-child of miracles, crucified by jealousy, the closest friend. Resurrection is overcoming hatred. Hatred is the uncle of revenge. Revenge is converted by love. Love makes broken hearts mend. Mended hearts bring truth. Truth is the root that makes the tallest tree ascend. These trees create the oxygen that makes me again the wind. I am the wind, says the eagle within. I am the wind that wrestles the air grown thin. I am the strength you found my weakness in, but in my weakness then I find my blessings begin. I am the wind that brings victory to those who succeed at failing. I am the rudder that directs the warships that must go sailing. I journey the motion of life where the track of the train be derailing. I ride the naked road still to reach the town in my veiling. Though the tears sweat out rain, evaporated my soul of pain, and the stain is left by the blood, and the blood reaches the brain, and sacrifices are performed to thoughts, and thought is where my power remains. My thought emails ideas to action, and action is when I am the wind again. I am the wind, says the eagle within. I am the wind that wrestles the air grown thin. I am the strength you found my weakness in, but in my weakness then I find my blessings begin. I am the wind in the moments when you think you might lose. I am the pearl of wisdom found by the simplest fool. I walk with fallen angels and dine with them over booze. And fallen angels are former demons, and demons are the diamonds we did not choose. And choice is the voice that shouts from the suntop, that reaches the real till you feel the truth shot. And shake and shame and name the lies stop, to feel the stitch, to feel the stitch when the lies stop. But can I stop these wings? My heart, these wings that soar across the sky, these wings, I am the breath beneath the butterfly, these wings, this grace that glides along the wind, these wings that make rejected stones ascend, these wings, fresh faith, I was the doubting door, I am no more, but am that stone that with the Christ Christine angels adore, these wings, you hear the sound that sings and rings, the bells beneath waving strings, baptized in crystal fire, never again to live beneath the higher life, letting loose like lightning, looking lethal, luring little leaves, lubricating blood that is born from the Lord. Triple darkness overcome, but not the sun. He be the righteous one. His rock cannot be moved. He is the King of glory. His name, my friend, I am that I am, therefore I am the wind. I am the wind, says the eagle within. I am the wind that wrestles the air grown thin. I am the strength you found my weakness in. But in my weakness then I find my blessings begin.
My great-grandfather started it in 1900, and now it's 2020, which is 120 years. We still measure your feet, still try to help you find a good fit. We're just a good old-fashioned shoe store where we'll measure your feet, make sure you're in the right size, and help you find a comfortable shoe for men, women, and children.
We're gonna fit your style. We're gonna make you smile. Service and quality at Clayton Shoe Store. We're gonna fit your style.
Ah, the glory days. Running to daylight on the gridiron and chasing a ball with a mind of its own. Cheering the team to victory and marching to the beat of your own drum. Memories that last a lifetime. But sometimes we're reminded of our glory days in ways we'd rather forget. Get back in the game.
The rehab team at Life Care Center of Tullahoma is ready to help you live and play well.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
Talking history about this and that. It's conversations with John and Pat. With John and Pat. With John and Pat.
Hello everyone, I'm John Rickman.
And this is Pat Welch and John. We are here today for segment 83 of the Conversations of John and Pat.
Marching to 100, Pat.
Marching to 100. It's going to be a great event.
The Wilburn brothers were somebody that I listened to when I was young. They were in the 50s, 60s, this sort of thing. My brother and I knew some of their songs, and this is one that I'd like to bring up.
Kind of dream that y'all might be on the...
We live 40 miles south of Nashville. We always thought 31A might lead us right straight to the capital of country music.
Wow.
And it did. It did lead us there. You know, we couldn't stick.
But you made it.
We made it a little bit.
I like that story, John, that y'all got on the Grand Ole Opry. We got to take any pictures, but you felt like you'd be going back. Unfortunately, we didn't get a chance to go back.
We thought, and that was August 22nd, 1980. I know it just as well as my marriage date, my birthday. But we went.
Maybe not quite as
no,
embedded in your memory as the marriage.
But we went, we played, we did good. You know, they applauded for a total of 16 seconds. 16 seconds is a lot. 1001, 1002, they kept, I mean, they saw that we...
I don't know if the clapping at the conclusion of our shows has been that long.
But this is the Wilburn Brothers song.
Play it on.
Roll, muddy river, roll on, muddy river, roll on. I've got a notion you'll go to the ocean alone. I've got a baby in Tennessee who's long been a-waiting for a little old me. So roll, muddy river, roll on, muddy river, roll on. New Orleans into old St. Louis, Stockton, Memphis, Minneapolis too. Back in Nashville I'll be through, so roll, muddy river, roll on. I love you, but just call it fate. You and I are gonna separate. You'll be here, but she won't wait. So roll, muddy river, roll on. Roll, muddy river, roll on. Roll, muddy river, roll on, muddy river, roll on. I've got a notion you'll go to the ocean alone. Well, I've got a baby in Tennessee who's long been a-waiting for little old me. So roll, muddy river, roll on, muddy river, roll on, roll on.
Good, John. And
Wilburn Brothers, Teddy and Doyle. Teddy and Doyle. You know, when they died, like a lot of music industry folks have passed away in the last few years, old singers, it's like somebody in the family died. Yeah.
Idols, almost. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if there were so much idols as there were just people that we sort of recognized and knew on television. You know, we recognized their voices.
Emulated and desired to be like.
To tell you the truth, I don't know any of the voices out there today that's sad, but I don't. Everything is. I listen to talk radio a lot, and to lots of other things.
At one point we used the song as a segue, and sometimes we had to stretch. And today I did see a stretch from your words, the reminders up here, about a muddy river and Memphis.
Yeah.
So remember that part of the song, and I'm gonna bring that back into my.
Yeah.
And you'll be amazed. We have had several historical parts on the Civil War, John, before, and we've always made a real good disclaimer that we were not going to take sides and decide which cause was correct and so on and so forth. But we were going to recognize the valor and the sacrifice that both sides went through in the Civil War. And you've got a member of your family that had a horrific injury during the Civil War fighting for the South. And but today we're going to counteract that subsequent stories. We're going to talk about a story from the Union side. And I have mentioned several times that in my travels for my wholesale lumber company that I represent, there's a church between Seymour and Maryville in a very rural area, and that area I believe was the whole area is called Eusebia, and there's a Presbyterian church there that was started in the 1700s, and that I believe
that's a pretty church, Pat.
It's a beautiful church. And there can't be 300 people living in that community now, but the church has been such a focal point of that area that there's over 1,000 people buried there. Show that. See if we can see that, Philip. That picture number 2. That's just a small part of it. And if you look in the back, kind of the right side, you can see some mountains. Those are the Smokies. And if you come from the entrance of that church out, and it's facing the graveyards in the front of the church, it's a spectacular view of the Smokies.
You know, a lot of communities like that, Pat, were thriving communities back in the day.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they were
back
at some
in the
point.
Day.
It doesn't matter how small the community is, if it's existed for long enough, you're going to have plenty of people passing away. And I'd say a third to, at some points, maybe even 40% of the stones you'll never be able to read them. They're weathered, it's absolutely slick. But I'd say about every 4 or 5 times I go through there, which is every other week, I'll have enough time to just pull over around that church and go in the graveyard, and I almost always find something that's really interesting, and a lot of it's Civil War. And I found a member of the 3rd Tennessee Cavalry, which was Union Cavalry, and that section of the state was very loyal to the Union. And Andrew Johnson, who became president following Lincoln, he was the Union side governor equivalent of Tennessee, though of course he'd just been to the representing basically people in upper East Tennessee. But anyway, this past time I came through, I got into section. I say there's over 1,000 graves there. I got into section in the graveyard. There was a tremendous amount of Pickens, Pickens. Was the name of the family. And once I started looking some of them up, it got to really picking my interest. There was a whole lot of the Pickenses, and I'll get into in a minute, that again served in the 3rd East Tennessee Cavalry Regiment. And one of the field officers, the highest ranking was Colonel William C. Pickens, and found his stone. And Philip, let's go to picture number 4. William C. Pickens is that stone. He was born in 1825 and passed away in 1872, and was the field commander for this cavalry regiment, which was fairly large. His father was Samuel Pickens, and that is picture number 3, Philip. There we go. He was judge of Sevier County, which I think this section that's in Blount County, where this church is now, at that time was part of Sevier County.
Pat, did you do something to that stone to make those words?
Somebody else did.
That's really.
Yeah. That's he lived from 1799 to 1862. Died during the middle of the war. He had another son, Samuel Wiley Pickens, who was a major. And also served under he served under his brother, and served in that same cavalry regiment. And his picture, Philip, is number 5. And there's his in his Union uniform. He lived from 1830 to 1906. And they were originally mustered out of, I believe, Murfreesboro. Let me see. We will make sure we're telling what we're supposed to be. And soon after that, they picked up the company of the first part of that cavalry was from Upper East Tennessee was Company A. By the time they were mustered in Murfreesboro, they were added B, C, D, and E. So the regiment's growing big time. And they spent most of their action was in West Tennessee and then down into Mississippi. They came back to the Murfreesboro area after the Battle of Stones River, when the Union, of course, had Bragg retreat out of that. And they, at some point, towards the end of the war, that regiment got into lower Middle Tennessee and then into northern Alabama, and they got cornered by Nathan Bedford Forrest Confederate cavalry, and on September 24th of 1864, men under Samuel Wiley, whose grave we showed, that was the younger brother of the colonel, the Major S.W. Pickens, he and 150 of his men were captured around Athens, and just above Athens the next day was a really small area called Sulphur Trestle. And at that time, Forrest captured another 400 of them on September the 25th. And as the war went on, and a lot of exchange, as it was obvious the South was going to be defeated, the officers were exchanged, so they gained their freedom December 15th. So I know Samuel W. was captured. I'm not sure about his brother William C. The rest of those men that were in that company, and almost all the ones from Upper East Tennessee, then were going to be released, and they were taken out of a prisoner of war camp and put on a boat in Memphis, which then brings me into the segue of the song. And this was in the spring, I believe in April of 1865. And the Mississippi, of course, was from the spring and floodwaters and so forth, was flowing really fast south. The boat is having to go north, and somehow, I don't know who is to blame, but the name of the boat was the Sultana, and it was over double occupancy rate that was supposed to be in.
Because they were getting so much money for every passenger.
That's I would hate to bring that human frailty up, but you're probably right, John. But they weren't far out of Memphis, and one of the boilers exploded, and a whole lot of those men were killed. It's over 1,000, and I believe it was something like 175 of the Union cavalry members from Upper East Tennessee were killed. In fact, I could not find the stone, but I did find some records that one of Pickens, another relative of these two officers, that he was not exchanged with the other officers. He lost his life in that explosion. And then, for a little bit of a side note, there was a not related closely, not another brother or a son of these two officers, is a Dr. Thomas H. Pickens, who was buried in that cemetery in that same area where all these Pickenses are buried in Eusebia, and he lived from 1864 to 1897, and he was 32 when he died. And I found a mention on findagrave.com that this Dr. Pickens was killed and shot by Dr. McPherson, and that's the only note I could find about his death. And I have spent several hours of time, and maybe I'm a little bit too fixated on it, trying to find out what happened there.
It looks like they broke the Hippocratic Oath.
There was some kind of problem there, because the Dr. McPherson was not tried. I mean, I've researched and researched, and you can't find anything other than Dr. Pickens was killed by Dr. McPherson when he was only 32 years old. And we will leave our listeners and viewers to their imagination what in the world could happen where a man wasn't tried for a man for murder.
That was interesting, Pat. Yeah. East Tennessee, the Union Army, and we're going to talk about the Southern Army here before long.
We're going to pick up the Southern Army, and we're going to talk about John's the valor of one of his relatives, and I'm eagerly anticipating that. And this was closed out segment, 83. We're not done. Management is desiring us to get to at least 100, and we can hardly wait. Thank you all.
Talking history about the Sandman. It's conversations with John and Pat. With John and Pat. With John and Pat.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
All right, Peg, we're back, and we got about 45 seconds to sign off here. I hope you have a good rest of the week.
I hope so too. I was just so moved by the Martin Luther King speech. It doesn't matter how many times I hear it.
Yeah.
The peaceful.
Great man.
The great man.
Great man. Yeah. And thanks to Darius Wallace for letting us use that piece. Just fits right in with everything that's happening right now. Be the wind, be the bird. You know, rise up.
Rise up.
Rise up above. And one thing I heard somebody say the other day that makes a whole lot of sense. Remember, the right wing and the left wing are both on the same bird.
Exactly.
We'll see you next time. Be safe.